What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Then We Eat. We've smoked food on this channel, we've made pasta on this channel, so on this week's episode, we're going to be making smoked mac and cheese. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our pasta into our cast iron frying pan. We're using cast iron today. If you've got another pan that you want to use on your smoker, that's fine too. All you're looking for is a smoker safe container to cook in. So I had 1 pound of dry shells here. I've gone ahead and I've cooked them. You want to cook them al dente. You don't want to cook them all the way. You want still a little bit of, not a crunch, just a little bit of a bite, we'll say. Just kind of hard still, but not very. Because if you cook them all the way, when we smoke them, it's going to become mushy. And if you don't want to use shells, no big deal. The recipe would normally be done with elbow macaroni. We didn't have enough, so we're using shells. Either or would work. So while our pasta is still hot, we're going to do this step first. So we're going to add 2 cups of Parmesan cheese, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 cup of milk, and approximately 3/4 of a cup of shredded cheese. I have 6 ounces of smoked cheddar cheese, 6 ounces of jalapeno Monterey jack cheese, and 6 ounces of Gouda. I shredded them all up, put them in the container, mixed it together so you get a good mix every time you need some shredded cheese. So for this, about 3/4 of a cup. We're going to give that all a mix together. Once you have it all mixed together, just kind of looking to melt some of that cheese, combine all the ingredients. We're going to set this aside and we'll start on our cheese sauce. So for our cheese sauce, we're going to melt together 4 tablespoons of butter, 16 ounces of Velveeta cheese. This Velveeta cheese came in a big brick. I just went ahead and kind of chopped it into small pieces. You don't have to do that. It's just going to melt a lot easier if you do. We also need 2 cups of milk and 3 cups of our cheddar cheese mix. Then we're just going to cook this down until that Velveeta and the cheddar cheese is all melted. And while we melt this down, don't worry too much about the Velveeta cheese. It's actually a lot easier to find than you would expect. I found it at all kinds of our local grocery stores, some of them in very small towns. But if you can't find the Velveeta cheese, you can also use Cheese Whiz. You're just going to get a slightly different flavor just because there's extra ingredients in Cheese Whiz, but it will work. Okay, so the cheese sauce is now complete. We're going to take that off the heat and we'll bring our pasta back. Now let's pour our cheese sauce over top. Give it a stir. I definitely could have used a bigger pan for this, so I'll just have to be a little careful. Now that you've got it in the pan, we're going to top it with the remaining cheese. You should have 1.5 cups of cheese left. 3 cups in the cheese sauce, 1.5 cups in your pasta originally, and then 1.5 cups for the top. Once you've got the cheese on there, we're going to top it off with a barbecue rub. In this case, I have 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and I have 1/2 teaspoon of smoked Then We Eat devil powder. You're just going to kind of toss that over the top. A little windy out here, so it may not get mixed quite or spread out quite as nice because half of it blew away as I tried to put it on here. And there you have it. So now we're going to stick this in the smoker about 375 for about 1/2 hour, in which case should be good to come out and to give her a taste. One last thing, just as we're about to put this on the smoker as well, I should mention this is meat free. If you wanted to add meat, you could put some ground beef or some smoked bacon or just regular bacon in it as well. We're happy with it just like this. The other thing is, if you do it this way, you could also have it with ribs or pork chops. You could have it as a side instead of a meal. Let's throw it on the smoker. We'll see you when it's done smoking. All right, and we're back. As you saw, the mac and cheese came off the smoker, had a nice brown over the top of the whole thing, looked incredible. Very close to boiling over, but it didn't, so thankfully we're okay. Now let's dig in, see what it's like. Oh my goodness. That is good. Nice smoky flavor from the macaroni. Get a nice smoky flavor from the Gouda and the smoked cheddar. This is very, very tasty. Also just a little tiny bit of a kick from the jalapeno Monterey Jack cheese, as well as the Then We Eat Devil powder, but it's not anything crazy. If you don't like heat, you don't have to worry. This won't knock your socks off anyway. Now I will point out, when this came off the smoker, it was very liquidy, but with that Velveeta cheese, it's gonna take a little bit of time. You're gonna need to let it sit to cool down anyway, and while it cools down, it is gonna start to thicken up, and it won't be nearly as runny and liquidy. As you can see now, it's a very nice consistency. It's not too runny, so it's just perfect. So that's it for this video. Hit like if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload next. We upload a new video every Friday at 6 a.m. The recipe is always in the description box below. Share the video with all of your friends and let us know in the comments below. What video would you like to see us make next? Or better yet, if you do try this, let us know what you think. Oh, and don't forget, first we cook, then we eat. So good.